7 a.m. and it's hot and steamy already. On the bright side, only about 22 kilometers to go.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So if you caught my last video, which was the first episode of this series, you'll know that I'm currently training for the Kosi 50 kilometer trail race in Kosciuszko National Park, Australia. This will be my second ever ultra marathon, and things are starting to ramp up a bit with the training. Also, as you may have guessed from the video title, I do have a little bit of a story to tell today. But before we get into that, I'm just going to dive into my overall progress over the last few weeks. Because in just this 2 weeks of structured training, I've already learned quite a lot. Well, actually, most of what I learned is just that training's hard. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's where it's at. Week 1 was amazing. This was probably the single most focused and energetic week of training I've ever done in my life. You can see here it's all ticks. Also managed to squeeze in a few hours of tennis that day on top of it. Tempo run exceeded the max here because I was feeling great. Why not keep going? Ticked off my gym sessions, good sessions in the gym. 9.5, that's near the top end of my easy run as well. And we'll talk about the long run in a minute. But week 2, I wouldn't say completely fell apart, but I went into week 2 feeling not so good, which I attribute mostly to my performance in week 1. Easy to say in hindsight, right? Oh, it's a classic case of too much too soon. The thing is, at the time, it didn't feel like I was doing too much. I felt great. I ended up just overall lower energy levels. I was a bit fatigued. I think my sleep wasn't great either, which is another thing I need to really dial in as I progress with building up my training. But yeah, in general, you can see here, I've gone from like crushing it here and playing tennis afterwards to just being too tired, and I sort of struggled through 7 kilometers. Bailed out of my easy run at 6 kilometers. The long run was actually pretty good. I remember during this easy run, I thought, man, I've got to do 20 plus kilometers tomorrow. I'm feeling bad right now. I think maybe I should just call it before I, make things worse and just get more rest. So my takeaway from that first 2 weeks is, as an individual, I'm not always the best judge of my own performance. All of this week 1 stuff, I felt strong, felt good, I was motivated. From one session to the next, feels fine. It's only after you have that cumulative effect of, a week of going too hard that it really starts to set in, and then the fatigue just kind of comes in like that. Even though I was going through the motions in week 2, just wasn't getting as much out of it as I should have been. I'm used to it feeling hard at the end of a sustained effort. I feel like it shouldn't feel so hard at the beginning of an effort. And that's what it was doing in week 2. So definitely a lesson there. More specifically, I am going to mix up these gym sessions a little bit. So the big problem is that I'm trying to do that Monday gym session Monday night, trying to get up at 6 o'clock on Tuesday and doing a hilly, potentially 10 kilometer run, using the same muscles that I worked in the gym the night before. Because the whole point of the gym is to strengthen my, leg and lower body muscles. So that's not really working for me. As I said in episode 1, I always have problems with cramps. One of the things that I'd like to do to try and mitigate that is to just strengthen my lower body muscles, particularly in my legs. Hence the gym work. Maybe this time of building up my mileage isn't the best time to be working out in the gym. To that extent, maybe after the event is when I should be trying to work on that muscle strength so that that'll set me up to build mileage in the future. I'm going to try and keep going to these gym sessions, but I'm not going to focus on the legs. I do also get sort of sore around the shoulders and the upper back on the longer runs. So I'm going to focus on strengthening those other kind of parts of the body, which aren't directly related to just putting one foot in front of the other, but are still related to distance running in general. If on a particular day I'm just feeling really fatigued and like I can't do it, I'm just not going to do it. Initially, I thought, I'm just going to go no matter what. If it's on the spreadsheet, I'm there. But didn't take long to realize that that's just not how it's going to work. So that covers everything except this one. And I suppose we should talk about that. All right, so obviously you've seen the title of this video called Hydration Fail, but the reality is hydration fail as a result of poor planning on my part. So I'm just going to talk through what happened on this long run in week 1 and share a couple of lessons which are probably obvious to most people. This was my route last Sunday. Brisbane runners will be probably quite familiar with these trails, and Brisbane runners will probably also know that last Sunday was hot. According to my Garmin, it got to 34 degrees C during my run. So anyway, I turned up I think I was on the trail by 6:30 down here at the reservoir car park. Plan was just to have a nice run around these single track around the lake here, and then go up and over this mountain, down the other side to another reservoir. So I left the car with 1 liter of water in my hydration vest, knowing, or should I say, assuming that I would be able to top up at this other reservoir here, Gold Creek, because, it's a freshwater reservoir with a picnic area. No problem. I'll just go to the tap and fill up there. I'm then going to run around the lake, you can see here, and come back to the picnic area so then I can get another liter. So my assumption was for this run, I would have 3 liters of water. You can probably tell what's going to happen here. I come up over the mountain, arrive at the Gold Creek Reservoir picnic area, look around in bewilderment because no tap. So no water. I'm stuck with 1 liter on a 34-degree day, 26-kilometer run. 2 things here. 1, I should have checked before I ran over the hills to this other area. Should have checked that there would be water available. And 2, just in case, I should have probably carried more water anyway, because you never know. Maybe you get there and it's out of order or something else has happened. Didn't do either of those things, paid the price. Obviously, I was like losing loads of sweat. And then I made my next mistake, which was when I saw there was no water available, probably should have just turned around and gotten back to my car as quickly as I could, but didn't do that either. Continued to run around the lake, but that didn't do me any favors. By the time I got back to this picnic area, I was basically out of water and only halfway through my run. My next mistake, mistake number 4, came when I was doing this climb back up the hill. Another runner came up behind me and we were chatting for a few minutes. I mentioned that I was out of water, shit planning. And he very kindly offered to give me some of his water. I politely declined because, it's my up. I don't want to affect someone else's run. And I didn't really think I was in any danger at the time. I just felt kind of thirsty. And I was like, no, it'll be right, mate. I'm just going to get back and I'll just be a bit thirsty. So off I went. Maybe a kilometer after that, all of a sudden I was just like dying of thirst, and starting to feel kind of a bit dizzy and just not completely out of it, but I just was not in a good way. So I struggled back around this course a little bit and made this turn off. Probably got to like somewhere around here. I just stopped. I thought I need to sit down. I need a rest. When I tried to stand back up, I was like getting all lightheaded and dizzy. So I sat back down again. I was like, well, this is a bit what am I going to do now, right? I've still got like kilometers to go and barely stand up. Luckily, some more people came along, and a lovely lady whose name I didn't get offered me a full liter of water because she had like 3 liters with her because she's smarter than I am. So, gratefully accepted at this point because I thought I'm in real trouble here. I kind of need to get some water in me. And they went off. I drank that liter of water in like 5 minutes and then immediately just had burning thirst again. So I actually had to text my wife and get her to pick me up from over here, a few kilometers short of my goal, because I just didn't think I could do that last couple of kilometers, basically. Spent the rest of the day just rehydrating and thinking about telling you all. So, yeah, quick recap of all of that. 4 mistakes here. 1, not properly researching the route before I went out. 2, not carrying emergency water anyway. 3, not turning back when I realized there wasn't water available. And then 4, not accepting help the first time it came around. Because again, wasn't really thinking ahead. I was just thinking about how I feel right now. I did, when I got home, got myself on the bathroom scale and did a few calculations about how much fluid intake I'd had versus my weight before and after. And basically I'd lost, I think, 5.5 liters of fluid in that time. And I think I had a liter of water with me, lost 5 in the run. So you can probably tell that was not the best planned trip. So just to cap this thing off, I will hand over to On the Day Ben, who, as you can see, was suffering pretty bad at the time, for this public service announcement.
Don't with hydration.
Yeah, wise words, mate. So I think that's everything for today. Next time I'll be doing some more updates, and also I'm going to talk a little bit about juggling this training plan just around normal life and the challenges that I've found with that. See you then.